like nothing happened. And it was like, you know, you said pull up, we became friends. And then the goddamn next day, the very next day we hung out, you're like, yo, I got a problem on the street. Like, you got my back. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, do you remember that? I'm like, oh no, God damn it. Why did I say what's up to this dude? So we went, we all go downstairs, and like, thankfully, it was like one of the Mexicanos that I knew. You know, they were just throwing up signs or whatever. They were just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you were down from the window, and I'm like, oh, that's my homeboy. Thank God.
Yeah, you know? Man. I'm sure I had all kinds of issues back then, but one thing that kept us alive was Lupe. You know, our brother. You know, I know you guys are super close, but Lupe had our back like no other, and he ran that damn block.
Lupe was the liquor store guy across the street. You know, not but like, you know, just within weeks of me moving to, that was like my primo, my brother, man. R.I.P. Lupe, man. I love that guy, man. For sure. And you know, he just kind of took me under his wing and kind of like, you know, showed me the ropes of like that street life, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just like avoiding stuff, being cool to people, and just, you know, he was about it, dude. Man, God rest his soul, man. He was a great dude. Yeah.
God bless Lupe. Again, he saved. Man, he saved me on multiple occasions.
For sure.
You know, like he was, because like I said in the intro, I was a freaking mess. You know, like I just didn't know. You know, like you're from Sacramento. You know, like you never know that trouble's just around the corner, or you know, somebody's trying to hustle you, or you know, like come up behind you and just, you know, bust you upside the head. Like I didn't know that. How versed were you with San Francisco living before you got there? Because I didn't know anything.
I pulled up. I just pulled up. I had a little money.
The same block.
Yeah, I just pulled up. Like I got the apartment through like some shitty website. I saw it once and I'm like, I guess it's cool. I didn't look at any other apartments. I mean, the rent was so cheap back then. I mean, this is like early, you know, mid 2000s or something, like 2005,
2003, 2004. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And it was just, I pulled up and, you know, I looked out the window. I was like, this is cool. You know, got the keys. But I really hadn't visited it. You know, I didn't really, you know, I was just about going to school, you know. And I know you were in school, right? You were at the chef school, right?
Yeah, I went to CCA around the corner.
Right. So you even stuck out like a sore thumb. You were wearing like all white. You know what I mean? I was like, this cat is crazy. Like wearing all white through the TL. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and most of my classmates, they lived in the dorms. But since I was there with my girlfriend when I first came, like she couldn't live. She wanted to move there with me. So, you know, she couldn't stay in the same dorm, or she probably could, but you know, that was like a thing that was in kind of the dorm. Like you have to go to the school. So we actually had to go out and find an apartment. And that, like you said, it was like $1,200. And this is back in 2004, 2005. I can only imagine how much they're charging for those damn apartments, right? Because you was in a studio, correct?
So yeah, I was in a studio. I remember your crib was a little bigger, right?
Yeah, I had the one bedroom.
So let me paint the picture though. We were in a top story of a building that was on Geary and Larkin, like viewed like, you know, Nob Hill, Russian Hill, had views, beautiful, like little like fire escape where you could chill on. And, you know, I think I was paying like $800 or something, you know, and that was like ridiculous, you know, like now I'm sure it's just astronomical, you know, now it's like, you know, luxury condos and all that stuff. Have you been back, bro?
I went back. So the last time I went back to that area of San Francisco was when I proposed to my wife. So this is almost 8 years ago now. And I was just kind of walking her through, kind of telling her my story before we ended up at the beach and me proposing. But there was like a Starbucks on that corner.
Oh,
right there where you turn on Polk. There was there's a Starbucks now, and I was like, this shit has changed. Like
so,
there was still, you know, the folks out there, but
well, yeah, dude,
just to see a Starbucks was like, oh shit.
I was just there like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like a salmon, you know, I go back to where I'm from, you know, so like I went straight to the block, and like everything's changed, but like the same, like, you know, the same crackheads are still on the street. I'm like, damn, Stinky, you still out here? Damn, Shorty. I'm all, damn, mama. You're like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Damn, you still out here? They're like, you know, they're surviving.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, I went to like, so when we started kicking it, after like we met and shit, we were like, let's go hit up some spots. So we'd go to the Vertigo.
Yeah.
Remember the Vertigo?
Oh, hell yeah, man. The Vertigo was we had that place on lock.
That spot was the spot, dude. So the Vert, we used to call it the Vert.
Yeah.
But that was like when Kanye was popping, and like it was like all that.
Graduation just came out.
Yeah. So we were just about that life, man. We'd get off work. And at that time I was waiting tables, and I was working at like, you know, little strip club. Like, I mean, I was working as security, you know what I mean? Not like this.
Hey, but let's back up. You worked at Florida Lee, though. You can't just say, hey, I bartended. You worked at probably back then was one of the top restaurants in the world.
Dude, yeah.
Not in the city, not in the country, in the world.
So yeah, man, I worked at Flirted by Hubert Keller. Like Hubert was like one of the top chefs and all that stuff. Great, beautiful, top restaurant. But I had bartending chops, you know. I didn't really know. I remember I showed you the menu, and I'm like, what's confit? And like, what's all this? Like, what's all these words? And you're like, bro, you're so ill-equipped to work at this. But you know, bartending was different back then. You just had to know how to make the staple drinks really well, keep your mouth shut. You know, it was more service oriented, where so you know, my interview was just like, make these 5 drinks. I'm like, I got you, you know. It was like a caipirinha, a latte, like some other mocha, you know, and I just whizzed out, and I'm like, cool. So but yeah, I remember you're like, damn, how'd you get that job?
Yeah, I was like, shit, let me get up in there.
yeah. Sometimes when you don't know that it's popping, you just walk in, you're like, hey, you looking for a guy to work here? They're like, wow, you really just walked up here.
Yeah.
And I got the job. So yeah. I worked there for a minute, man. But yeah, it's like after work, you know, we all try to find something to do. You know, we went over to hit the spots, and that was a good time, man. That was like some of my, you know, formidable years, man.
Yeah, it was, and I only lived there for maybe 2.5, 3 years, but it's part of my life where, you know, if I didn't do that, I don't know where I would be right now. Like, it's just one of those points of life, you know, where you're mid-20s, you're in a big ass city, you partying, you got your boys, you know, like you just running around like with no care in the world. But you're at that point also where you got to start thinking about what you want to do in life. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, man. Because I was out in Orange County prior to that, and I was like, but I was busting tables. You know, I'd be wiping down a table, plunging a toilet, thinking, damn, I'm an artist. I've always had this thing. And I was like, damn, am I gonna see about this dream or not? You know? And then one day down in Orange County, I just like said, you know, I gotta check into art school. I gotta see about this dream. And I left, and I just, you know, stacked some chips and went to the city. And you're absolutely right, man. That was like do or die. Like, is this gonna happen? Am I gonna go see about my skill and my thing? And I went to art school, and, you know, did that thing, and kind of realized, you know, I can do this. This is super doable. And I remember when we first met, it was like, where are you from? You're like, I'm from Sac. I'm like, I'm from Sac.
Yeah, and I think this is after more time. This is probably like 6 months after we first started hanging out. Like, I swear, like, we didn't know, like, I don't even think I knew your last name. Like, we was
Yeah.
just kicking it.
We're just kicking it.
We was just out there.
Yeah. We're just, yeah. And I was like, where are you from, fool? It's like, Sac. You're like, oh shit. Okay. It's on. But then, and then, back, then like, years pass and shit. We reconnect out here in Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? Remember I saw you somewhere?
No, I went to your art. It was second Saturday.
Okay.
And I remember, I think I had a early night. Like, I think I was opening on Saturdays at Crush 29 out in Roseville. I was opening those. I think I was opening Saturday so I could go out Saturday night. And I just remember, like, people kept talking about the second Saturday. I didn't know it was about art, but they kept saying, oh, this guy, Ralphael. Oh, this guy, oh, we got to stop by his second Saturday and this and that. And I was like, man, I ain't trying to see no fucking art, like, I'm trying to be out here. I'm trying to go to the mix. I'm trying to hit up the park. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here trying to do my thing. And we roll in there, and you're the fucking Ralphael. I'm like, what the fuck? Because remember, I left in the middle of the night. Remember, from San Francisco, Pops came through with the U-Haul because they was about to kick my ass out. So Pops came in with the U-Haul. You helped me.
I helped you,
grab like a few things, I was like, because they was about to shut my shit down. So I was like, I get on the phone, like, hey, Pops, you got to bring the U-Haul. I got to get the fuck out of here.
I remember I helped you move and shit. And the next day people were looking for you. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have no idea who you're talking about. I don't see nothing. I don't say nothing. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know who you're referring to. I don't have any kind of number. But like, yeah, it was kind of like, we shook hands and no numbers exchange. It was like, all right, you good? Okay, that's it, But then, I saw you. When I saw you in my studio, I like had to rub my eyes, man. I didn't believe my eyes. I was like, oh shit, it's Cecil, my boy. So, yeah, and then you were working at that nice restaurant. What was it called? It was kind of
Fresh 29.
Yeah,
out in Roseville. Yep.
I had my little dates and stuff. I'd go out there.
Oh, I'll show you the 5-star treatment.
The chef would come out, they're like, ooh la la. I was like, you came up with you came up with those lollipops. Remember you doing those lollipops?
Lamb lollipops, yep.
Yeah, you turned that was a wave after that. Everyone started doing that. You know what I mean?
Hey, no problem here, buddy.
Yeah, everyone started doing the lollipops after that. You showed me all that love. That was hella cool, man. Thanks. I never really, you were always so far away, but yeah, that was good times, man.
No, it was great times. And so I know that you didn't start second Saturday, but you took second Saturday and took it to another level, because
yeah.
Was it something, did somebody come to you and was like, hey, can you take this shit over for us? Because it was like a studio. It wasn't the studio that you've been in for years now. It was like on 21st. Foggy memory.
So I had this little joint over there where Chief Piercing is now by Temple Coffee, right by in between 22nd, in between J and K, which is the neighborhood's popping now. I mean, you're welcome. But no, I was like the first one on the block, and it was like, so second Saturday was kind of like an early art swap where, the studios would be open and people would come through. But I'm about that life. So I was about the after party, so I would host, after parties, and it was like almost every month I would have a dope party. And it was just, it's just about hosting. You're a host. Yeah. You love people. I love like checking in on people. How you guys doing? And maybe it's from those flirted days where I'm just love service. So I turned my art studio into something where it was a place where people meet, they hang out, they chill, they feel welcome. And to this day, I love just having little after parties, low key, kind of, kickbacks and things, and it grows, right? You know, people just say, oh, that's fun to go to, let's all go. And yeah, I just kind of, it's like consistency. I was open every month, like, you know, 50 consecutive like months in that studio, where it was like, you know, pretty soon the mayor was pulling up. That was Kevin Johnson at the time. You know, hella people were pulling up, and it was just, after you see someone once, twice, 3 times, then they start becoming like a real customer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're like a regular. And then they tell their friends. So yeah, second Saturday, I'll be back. I'll be doing more things for second Saturday, you know.
And I definitely got to come through.
And then, dude, we pulled up for Taste on 12, man. Talk a little bit about that, man.
Oh, man, you gonna turn it on me, huh? So, so Taste on 12th, that was me, you, Jason Hockma. And so we were trying to we was trying to change the game, and we did. You know, like me cooking, Jason drinks, you art in your art studio. So we pretty much, you came, I don't know, I think I just got fired. That's what it was.
Okay,
I got fired, and I was super depressed. Yeah, I was all depressed. And I go to your studio. I think it was the first time I put on clothes, I shaved, like I was like, I gotta get out of the house. So I end up at your studio, and I just remember you taking a picture of me sideways, like from this side, and I'm just kind of like this, and he's like, and you're like, let's do something around this, because watch this shit on YouTube, guys, because I'm gonna show you the whole Ralphael, how he gets in the zone. So he's just like this, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. No, I'm just gonna take a picture. And then you just start like, drawing shit. And then and it started with like 12th. And then you're over there and you're doing your thing. You're doing your Rain Man shit at this point. And you're just like, you're like, oh, yeah, we got it. And then all of a sudden you turn it around, you're like, Taste on 12th.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? And he's like, you bring your food, and we do a food event around my art. And I was like, you know what? That'd be cool if we had like a bartender. I got my boy Jason Hockman, and you met Hockman at Crush 29, and we all got close that way. But yeah, and for some reason, and then I think we brought in Kirsten too, to kind of, she was an event coordinator just starting out, and kind of
polish it up a little bit.
Yeah, she polished us up, because we're three hungry dudes. But and I think Jason had his he had like a bartending catering company at the time. So we were all like hungry, and I think I was talking about doing the food truck at this point, and it just kind of all culminated into this epic event. We had Dusty Baker there, we had all kinds of we had all kinds of people. And remember, Dusty like hung out with us like all night.
And my dad was there, and he's an old LA cat, so he when he was talking about Dusty Baker, he was like starstruck. That was one of his favorite baseball players.
Exactly.
He's like, my dad's like, hey, this is one of my favorite baseball players when I was a kid and shit. And Dusty's like, I'm not that old. It was funny, yeah. But yeah, he pulled up, and it was just the town showed up, and you had your food truck out front. And that's when, I felt like it was a big move, kind of like a public, spectacle of sorts, where you could kind of like just meet everybody, put a name to the face, because your brand. Were you National Proper then? No, you weren't.
I was Cecil's Taste back then.
Yeah. So, I don't even know if you had the name yet. I think you were just a food truck back then. I don't know. Let me think. But anyway, you were just kind of emerging onto the scene a little bit heavier, a little bit more, in the public eye. But we just had a good old time, man. We just banged it out, had a great time. Kind of just, it's about the culture, man. It's about the culture, just about giving people just, you know, rolling out the red carpet for whoever pulled up. They were getting oysters. They were getting an art, you know, like I would just, you know, tell every little secret about my art and, you know, introduce people. And no, that was a good time. We did it a couple times, you know, and that was kind of just, we had to reconnect. That was a celebration of us reconnecting. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
That we didn't do it consistently. Maybe we should run it back, dude.
Hey man, I think it'll be a great idea. I know Hockma, he's been managing Land Ocean out in Roseville, but I know he'll be down to do something too. But yeah, because I still have people to this day talk about Taste on 12. They'll be like, "Hey, remember when you did those parties at Ralphael Delgado studio? Do you ever get that? Because I get it all quite a bit still."
I mean, I still have a lot of events, but yeah, every event thereafter has been lackluster without fresh grilled oysters. You know what I'm saying?
You had that like little ass grill outside.
yeah. But you were flipping those oysters like, god damn, those were good.
Yeah, I was popping the shit out of them oysters back then.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, none of my art shows ever served like hand-to-mouth fresh oysters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just started eating raw oysters by the end of that bitch. We ran out of charcoal, so people were just in the back popping open oysters. And
I know. I remember
no lemon, nothing.
Yeah, you had some help. You had some homies there that were cool. And I don't know. It was the right time. Midtown was kind of blooming and kind of like, this is before all the bars and all that stuff. You know?
No, I mean? There was nothing out there.
There was nothing out there.
There was a church across the street.
There was a church.
And I think Shady Lady maybe been around.
Yeah.
Or maybe just open, but there was nothing on S.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so that was but that was just a fun time, man. And we kind of incorporated just art and food. That was the vibe. It was like an artist's food, meet the chef, meet the artist. That was really cool. Get fresh drinks. The bartenders were good looking, like sharp. You know what I mean? That was real fun. We'll run it back, dude. I promise. Let's do something.
I'm down for that. But we can sit here and shoot the shit all day. But this is about you, Raph.
So hey, what's up, man?
So how did you get started in art? And your style of art is something that I saw in his beginning stages. I know, you know, something that you're kind of playing around with when we were in San Francisco, but how did you get into your style of art and, you know, evolving it?
Dude, I've always been an artist. You know, my name Ralphael, you know, early on, I was always like looking in the dictionary. Ralphael was a great Renaissance painter. So early on, my whole identity was always art. I was always, you know, about that art. And I was, you know, I've had my same signature since I was a kid. There was no plan B. I've always been an artist. I mean, I've learned, you know, to draw like high realism. I'm classically trained. You know, I went to the academy. So I was about like, you know, maybe 20 years old when I started discarding like any kind of reference. It was straight from the dome. Everything I do is a freestyle. Everything I do is just, I attack the canvas and try to just create something that's interesting. But I guess my style really started like solidifying probably like 10 years ago. And it's just based on the audience, you know? I want people to look, seek, and find things. And, you know, you want to like have your influences, but then break away, right? You know, you break away and start finding something that's unique to your own. But I like color. I like sharp lines. I like very crisp elements. But, you know, that being said, I'll prove myself wrong and do something totally different. You know what I'm saying? As soon as it gets predictable, I like to switch it up, you know?
Yeah.
As soon as it starts, people start like, oh, we know you. I'm like, oh, I'll never do that again. Okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy.
But you've seen me work, Cecil. Like, you know, I just get down. Like, either you can or you can't, right? You're a chef, right? You look in a pantry and there's like 5 or 6 things. You're like, okay, I got you. Everyone sit down. Give me 20 minutes, you know?
Of course.
So you give me, I look around, I see like maybe a pizza box and a marker and like, I got it. Like, I just start going, you know?
Yes.
And that's the sign of whether you can or can't, you know?
Yeah, I definitely remember the strings. And
oh, yeah,
used
that's
to have
right.
those strings all over the fucking place. And I'll be like, what are you doing with this? Or another thing Ralphael used to do, we'll be over here, we'll be in my apartment, because I always had, you know, like Nick Nagy and Oscar and everybody was always at the apartment.
Oh, those cats. Yeah. I forgot about those dudes.
And I remember you always would like bring in like a painting that you're stuck on, and you'll just leave it in there. It'd be like, I'll come get this later, and just leave. And the painting will be there, and then you'll come in with another painting and be like, all right, I want to take that one. I'm going to bring this one back. All right.
First of all, sometimes you have to look away. You have to get it out of sight, and then you come back to it. And also, I had that tiny apartment. Storage was an issue. So, yeah, man, like, but I appreciate you guys. You guys were hella cool. But you were artists, all of your homies, all in your own rights. Yeah. You know, Nick, shout out Nick. He was cool as hell.
Shout out to Nick. I don't know where he's at, but, you know, wherever you at, Nick, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, he was cool. He was a very perceptive, interesting guy. But you guys were artists in your own right. And you were describing some of my abstract work as like flavors. I remember you were saying it kind of like zips. You would say words like, that's tangy. Or like, I was like, oh, I never heard of a painting being tangy. I was like, oh, that's cool. So, or like, you know, even if it was, you're like, that's rich or smooth or stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that was like, I was doing those abstract paintings. But I mean, you know, then I started a little bit later, I started getting into big art, like those murals and stuff. So I dropped some murals. And man, like I underestimated.
Let's get in the wide open wall since we're going here. Cool. How did you get involved? You know, like the first one was the one over jalapenos, right?
That was my first. Yeah, that was my first big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with them? And I know they've been kind of through ups and downs lately. So get to where they are now. But let's start with how you got involved with wide open walls and the bear over jalapenos.
So yeah, man, like I've been working for years now. Like I've been in the gallery systems. I worked at a major gallery here in downtown, and I've just been, you know, accessible and always like in the scene. So you know, so the whole mural scene kind of started bubbling up, started popping, and I was reached out from the organization because of just my connections working with the artists and stuff. The first year I was just a participant, and I did the bear mural, and I was the first person to do the bear mural for Sac Republic. So I started, you know, reinterpreting the California flag and creating that bear. And then, man, I underestimated the impact of like a big mural. You know, I had done hundreds of things, but until I did that big bear, people are like, oh, you did the bear. You know what I'm saying? So like you do something huge, you become synonymous with that imagery. And yeah, man, right from the very first dab of paint, I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. People were honking, good job. I'm like, I haven't even done anything yet. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, oh wow, I need to start messing with this.
Yeah.
And you know, I felt that there was a need for a broader representation of, you know, a diverse group of artists to do murals. You know, like a handful of artists had done very well, you know, satisfying the mural scene here in Sacramento. But now, you know, we have like hundreds of artists that have done murals here in Sacramento. And I'm here for it, man. I think it's really beautifies the city. And so, you know, going back to that, I started just as I got on the board of Wide Open Walls, I realized that there's a great feeling in stepping aside and giving an opportunity to somebody and watching them just like bloom. It's their first mural, and no one ever tapped them to say, hey, you want to do a mural? Maybe they just like do so well. They start their careers almost, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, they really, you know.
Yeah.
For example, man, for years, I would drive past this wall down like 20th or 21st Street for years, always thinking, man, I can't wait to paint that. I'm going to paint that. I would fantasize about what I want to paint there. And then one day, like, I'm painting it for somebody else. And it was a Shauna McDaniels mural. And it's like, I'm glad I was involved in it. You know, I'm glad I was involved in it. I didn't paint it personally, but like, it's just cool having my hands on a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you grow as a group, you know, there's a little bit more eyes on you. Everyone wants to pull your card and, you know, figure you out and get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's just, you know, it's anybody's game right now. Like, anybody could start anything right now here in Sacramento. It's a very fertile art scene now. Not when I first started, you know, I couldn't even give it away. You know what I mean? I couldn't even give my art away. I put it on the street, like no one would even take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would like tag it, this sucks. And I'm like, damn. But now it's just like popping, man. Now the art scene, we're coming back, and a lot of new artists. We've been featured in like dozens and dozens of, you know, international street art magazines and mural magazines. You know, all these like emerging street art mural cities, most, you know, underrated cities for art. And we're just putting the spotlight on Sacramento.
Yeah.
And that spotlight heavily includes people that have been here for a long time, that are finally getting a little bit more, you know, a little more shine, just based on the attention we're trying to get and retain for our city. Like, we want that spotlight to look at us and stay on us. Yes. And just like with the food, right?
Yes.
You know, I'm seeing everything, you know, a lot of great food critiques, and, you know, the spotlight's coming. You know, we gotta make it stick.
No, the food thing's great. It's just you know, like one thing that I kind of see in Sacramento, and I knew it was coming, and the reason why I did hot chicken, and I've said it on here before, Raph. I did it because I knew somebody else was gonna do it. And if I didn't do it at that moment, because I knew as soon as this chicken sandwich popped off, there'd be hundreds of chicken sandwiches afterwards. There's already hundreds before. There's already hundreds before, but they were just kind of stuck on a menu. But there was never like a full Nashville hot chicken place.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you, bro. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm sure it's the same. We talk about the shit all the time. It's the same with the art, you know, like you start doing something, you start fucking with the strings and doing shit that way, and then all of a sudden you got 20 dudes next week working with strings, which is flattering, but at the same time, we need to evolve. We need to come with a different perspective, and that's when I like, you know, step in and be like, all right, cool. I'm doing chicken, you doing ribs, you know, you're doing Ethiopian, you're doing Mexican. That's how I like to roll. I don't want somebody to, you know, like come through my kitchen and then 2 months later, they got a hot chicken place. We already doing that. Let's evolve. Let me see where do you want to come? The reason I did chicken is because I've been frying chicken since I was 12, Raph. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's something that I kind of had down. You know, it's something that I always wanted to do, like at some point in my career, just open a chicken joint. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason. Sure. It wasn't because like, oh, homeboy 2 doors down has hot chicken. All right, let me try.
I know.
It too.
I know. And that's just like that's like a testament to your creativity. You know, you want to be creative and reinvent something. And that's what I did with the California flag. or, you know, we saw the bear a million times, but I wanted to reinvigorate it, like reinterpret it, you know, make it my own. And now, you know, there's lots of bears murals everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, and just like you said, when people come to your kitchen, you know, this is Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? Like people like when in Sacramento, you say, you know, hey guys, I have a good idea, but it's mine. Okay, everybody, like, don't, you know,
have to.
You have to kind of like, yeah. And but at the same time, like, you have a million ideas. So like, okay, like, all right, go ahead, take it. Everyone knows that I'm the fountain of ideas. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, it's flattering in a sense, but they have to give credit where credit's due, you know, and you know, it's not up for debate, you know, on some of the origin stories of the dishes that come out of it, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So and like, I don't know, man, you'll switch the game up when you want to, you know, you just kind of dictate what's popping, you know?
Yeah, and that's what artistry is, I think, is like, you know, you have to evolve at some point. Yes, Nash and Proper is gonna be here forever. But you know, I know, especially I know how you are. I get bored. I get bored. You know, like when I'm just doing one thing and one thing, you know, like it's like, okay, let's open, you know, another style of restaurant under Nash and Proper. You know what I mean? Like it has to be, it has to be kind of evolving. I'm doing a family friendly one in Elk Grove. You know, I got the patio out there. We're doing the beer garden because, you know, like, all right, I could do these quick service. I could do the food trucks for so long, but you know, like, how are we going to evolve? How are we going to get better? How am I going to, you know, get my cooks that are right now, you know, 5 years down the road, get their own Nash and Proper? That's what I do it for. That's,
man, you bring tear to my eye, because I'm the same way, man. Like, I'm an artist for artists, which means like, let me step aside on that wall that I've been wanting to do. I could do it. They wanted me, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me step aside and let somebody else get a shot, and let me amplify and, like, you know, build up other artists to make anybody under my wing. I want to see them bloom, you know? And dude, that's what's up. And you've always like take care of your people, you know, your employees and whatnot. And that's super cool, man. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you, my new concept is I'm gonna downsize, make a little bit more of an intimate space. Like, I don't think people want to go like to crowded big old art, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want a lot of randos in my studio anymore. I used to be super open to the public. Now I'm about my VIPs and giving a little bit more intimate, a little bit more like smaller, kind of low-key vibes, you know? You know, where you get a little bit more personal time. I hate running around the studio forgetting people's names and like, I'm sorry, like, there's too many people, like, I can't give you quality service right now. You know? I remember you used to have the guest book. Do you still got the guest book? I do. I filled up so many guest books, but yeah, man, like, so exactly, like, you know, there's only two types of people in the world: people that have been to my studio or people that haven't. You know what I'm saying? So like, the people that have been to my studio, like, they're the VIPs, you know, the ones that I really want to continue to like engage. And I got to focus on them. So like, I'll be switching concepts a little bit, but all is well in my world right now. I just continue to try to be creative and refine, keep refining and growing. And you know, it's the same in your world. We're synonymous in that way. You know, we kind of like, it's same, like a lot of my chef friends, and it's the same thing, man. It's just trying to challenge yourself. And you know, you dictate the terms. You're gonna tell Sacramento what's popping, you know, what's proper. Yeah, we got it. We have to. You tell us. You tell us. Like, so like, yeah. Hey, you know. Hey, one other thing that you were way above, you know, like the artist loss. I remember when there was nothing there, you were talking about it, like, there's gonna be this building over there. We're like sitting there, and you're like,
yeah, over here is gonna be this building, and all these artists are gonna be in there. And I was like, "Fuck is this motherfucker talking about?" But it's a
Empty pit.
whole fucking thing now. You go
Yeah.
down on the R Street corridor, you know, like how were you involved with that? How did this get here?
So, well, no, I mean even at Taste on 12, Ali Yousefi, RIP, shout out, man.
Yeah,
God
man,
bless him.
shout out Ali.
Yeah, Ali was just an innovator, a visionary. He would pull up to the studio and kind of look at like, damn, okay, there are artists out here doing it, you know, and what do you need as an artist? So you just pick my brain, really low key, and like we're building these artist lofts next year or 2 years from now. And you know, we want you to do a piece, which I did a piece in their lobby, but he was just curious. He was just a very inquisitive, sharp, thoughtful guy. So he would, you know, just ask about lighting and how many square footage and like, what would you need as an artist? And then, you know, he's like, dude, you're about to be in the heart of the arts district.
I remember
and I'm like,
that shit.
I'm like, thank you. That's cool. I'm
like,
right
I remember
on.
you kept saying it. I'm like, Raph, you got your thing going on, but I thought it was a mistake for you to move from downtown. But you know, you see how the roles have reversed. Like Midtown is the spot. You know, like
yeah.
And, you know, we still do our thing, but we're more catered towards the offices.
Everywhere is going to be popping in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Though at the rate it's growing, at the rate they're building, you know, every weekend there's a new building popping up, you know.
There is.
And, you know, all I have to say is I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
Like, you know, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So it's something where like I'm just now I have to double down. I have to be a leader. I have to get it more involved in boards. I have to be an artist for artists and help. And you know, just like Ali, man, he created a you know, a mixed income unit, like the whole thing. So like people that really needed a helping hand, people that are just like struggling or doing whatever, they're just like about to start their art career. They were able to have a dope studio and work and now build their career and move out and move on. And that's great. And now we're seeing a culture of commerce where people are going to spend a little bit more money and you know, buy a nicer, you know, spend more on a bottle of wine or food or art or enrich their lives. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the daily usage. There's people coming to Sacramento every time I have a show. I ask people, where are you from? They're like, oh, we're from Oakland, we're from Seattle, we're from Denver, we just moved here, we're from San Francisco, we just moved here. And like, that's cool, man. I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with people moving here because you could tell a lot about a place by the way they treat outsiders.
Yes.
You could tell a lot about a place. There's no, you know, when you're warmly welcomed, just like being a host, man. I'm a host. I'm a
yes,
host.
you are. Yes, you are.
So it's like, it's about warmly welcoming people to Sacramento. And when they come in, I want them to feel like, damn, okay, I'm with the owner here. This is fun. This is cool. You know? And we'll never be too big, man. You know, we'll never be too cool to humble yourself and really give quality time and energy and effort to all our people out here, man. I'm stoked for Sacramento, man. I mean, I'm sure you're seeing a big bright light at the end of the tunnel here, you know?
Yeah, I just hope it's not a train coming towards me, man.
I know, man. No,
yeah,
dude.
Hey, one other thing, you know, that I kind of would you be open to opening up a like some kind of art studio? I know they have like a few places like around Oak Park and stuff like that, you know, like bring kids in and, you know, teach them art like after school. Is that something that you ever thought about doing, or just having your own art school just in general?
Yeah, a goal of mine is to have what's called the Delgado Art Foundation. I've been collecting a lot of art in the last year. I want to buy people's artists. I want to buy people's art. I want to support artists. And I used to give lessons, man. All my kids that I've given lessons to, they're like graduating college and shit now. So like,
oh, nice.
you know, it's been a long road. I'm totally open to that, man. I am. I love giving lessons. I don't have any kids myself, but my nieces and nephews, and you know, life was meaningless before those kids came along. So like, I'm down for the younger generation. Yeah, I'm open to that. Absolutely. I just have to find my team. I'm a one-man show, bro. You know,
yeah, I know.
I've always been very singular in regards to keeping everything real tight to my chest. I have to release some of that and give people, empower people, and tell people all my little secrets. You know how it is.
Oh man, I
just trust people.
I just recently like let go of some recipes that I was just doing. It's just that I can't do it all myself. Like, especially as we're just growing and growing and growing, you know, like I can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
yeah,
you know, I can't do everything. I can't be everywhere. And that's something that I just, you know, are figuring it out. Like in these last couple years, Raph, is like, you know, like I have to give some of this up, but like I can't bombard the next person because my vision is my vision. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I think that you're kind of, you know, towing the line right now is like, all right, it's my vision, but you know, like, how can I get this person to tap into my vision? They're never gonna have the vision that we have, Raph.
I know. Dude, I know. I'm struggling with that, but at the same time, you just gotta trust people and let know that no one's gonna do it quite like you. And especially just as we are, it's hard for Sacramento to give shout outs and say, yo, the originator of this kind of whatever artist studio where we do that, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's hard to just say. You feel a little burned. You're like, damn, okay.
but then you look into it and it's like, oh, this person donated so and so much money, and it's like, I can't do that.
You know, it's funny, man. I was giving lessons for years and years, and then these kids, you know, they started having dope art shows, and I'm like, damn, that kind of looks like my stuff. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you graduated, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Then you gotta switch it up.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, no more art lessons. They're getting too good. They're like, you know, I'm like, damn, that looks funny. That looks familiar. It looks like it's from my class. No, it's all good. No, I'm just, you know, I'm blessed, man, and I'm just fortunate to have like friendships, you know, and long-term colleagues that support, and collectors, you know, just like anything, man. The people that fuck with me, you know. So I'm really just happy, and I've worked closely with my dad and my parents, so like I'm just blessed, and I'm hoping that just as we all grow in the right direction, you know.
Yeah, and we'll start winding down here, but I do want to talk about your family, because you got one of the dopest families, most the coolest people in the world. I met every single body, and everybody is just so nice and so great. And you know, the Delgados, your moms and pops did it right, man, because you guys are all stand-up people.
Man, I guess it just comes from the struggle. Like, no one really has your back. You know, your family does, though. You know, it's like you know, your family. You know, you're kind of just and it comes from the struggle, and we kind of just all. My sister did my PR, and she's always been a big cheerleader for us. And you know, if she and then my dad kind of, you know, pivoted a lot past like 2008, when he went through some struggles with real estate and all these things. So like, we've just all had to rely on each other, you know. And even mental health wise, you were talking a little bit about, you were just going crazy, lonely and stuff, you know. Who else can you talk to? You know, if you can't like break it down with your family. And when you reveal a lot they know your vulnerabilities and stuff.
Yes.
So they've always just been in my corner, and there's nothing else. Friends and stuff and all that stuff. Like you gotta like work with your family, So yeah, no, but thank you, man. They've always thought of you fondly, and they speak of you, and they always stoked on your success. And man, it's just like life's a big circle, We'll all link up. You know what I'm saying? It all comes back.
I did. I catered your sister's wedding. Shit.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it was something that I usually never do. It's like a menu that is just totally different from the national proper. Like,
it's so good.
Like roasting chicken and shit. Like
so good. I hope it was fun for you, right?
It was great. Oh man, it was a beautiful venue too, man.
Dude, that was so fun, man. Yeah.
It was a
so
great.
She's got 2 kids now. Yeah.
She had a second one. Okay.
So yeah, and I'm just blessed, man. These kids like bring me life, and I'm like, as the family grows, I even see my nephews and nieces taking on artistic vibes. I take them out to eat. You know what I'm saying? They love the culture, Midtown, how to, it's a swag. It's a kind of like a vibe when the appreciation for other people's artistry. And I think that's what art is. It's just like the attention to detail. See what they're doing here? See, and you could tell when people really have attention to details. You know what I'm saying? And I like to instill that in my nieces and nephews. So like, it's all just the Delgado Art Foundation, man. You know what I mean? I gotta build the next thing for the legacy. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure National Property will have things where it's like, a food festival or something big. You guys you're on the road.
Hey,
you're
gonna
have
something. You know what I mean? Like, there's already some talks. I'm not gonna say nothing because
I know.
You already know how it is in Cecs.
You gotta keep it close.
You gotta keep it close to the vest. Hey, man. Hey, but
I already know that.
All right, we're at this section. We're at the last piece of this interview. This is coming in hot, okay, Delgado? So this is anything that's on your mind. This is any kind of topic that you want. So, Ralphael Delgado, we need you to come in hot. What you got, Raph?
Oh, man, I'm just like, okay, so NFTs, man. Like this thing with this digital art platform. I don't know, man. It's like, do you know what I'm talking about, man? Do you know about this?
I know exactly.
So like this cryptocurrency and all this thing, man, I don't know. I'm old fashioned, man. I'm not going to fuck with it. I'm like, everything I do is handmade personally. It is like not to be resold. It's an heirloom. Like I like, this is the biggest thing where like GIFs are being sold for, millions of dollars, or like a JPEG is like, come on, man. Don't stop playing with me. Come on, come pick up some freaking art.
Yes.
Appreciate it forever. Come, and there's that, and just the scene right now, man. Like, read a book, do your homework. You can't just be a chef. You can't just be an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, go through the training, put in the work, and then you can call yourself an artist.
Shitty.
Be shitty for a while.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
Struggle, motherfucker. Struggle.
So like, we have a problem right now where sloppy fast shit is being taken for cutting edge. It's not. It's not. You know what I mean? So anyway, read a book, do your damn homework, go learn the craft, and then come at me.
Yes.
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Go ahead and go. Hey, plug your socials, plug any way people can get a hold of you.
Man, I'm at Art by Ralphael. Raphael. What's that spell? And like, but I'm on SN12. Pull up on me, man. Like, surprise me. But yeah, every second Saturday I will be open from 5 to late. And then if you're about the after party, stick around. And anytime you see something popping at my studio, just pull up. Be nice. Don't bring 5 dudes. Yeah. Don't bring too many dudes. Yeah, 5 high ass dudes. No, like, pull up correct and pull up proper, and then I'll mess with you. But man, all are welcome. If you see me on the street, buy me a drink, buy me a cup of coffee, and then you can get some of my time. Cecil, man, I can't wait to kick it. Love you, brother. You've always just been 100, and ever since the first time you said, "Hey, pull up,"
yeah,
it's been on, bro.
Yeah,
it's fucking on, man. I look forward to a long friendship with you, man. I'm so stoked for you.
And like one of the best dudes I ever met. Thank you so much. You're a big part of my life, and you're always going to be that San Francisco part of my story. And, when I came back here and reconnected with you, I'm telling you, we got to go to Ralphael's studio.
You're like Ralphael,
you already know. I was like, this motherfucker. Everybody talk about Ralphael in Sacramento. Fuck that guy. Before I even saw who it was.
And then but it was big hugs, man. It was all about, wait, what? Yeah, all good, man.
Hey,
that's good.
All right, we gotta get out of here. You can holler at me at Chef Cecs, at Coming In Hot, at Nash and Proper. You can come to www.nashandproper for those delicious, scrumptious, crunchy, hot chicken sandwiches. Subscribe to Coming In Hot with Chef Cecs wherever you listen to your podcast. I'll see you next week. Peace out. Love ya.
Love you guys. Take care, man. Bye, Cecil.
Bye.